Good morning, everyone. It's Jen here from Tarot Spirit, and I'm here for your weekly reading. And I'm going to do categories this week, and I'm going to use two decks. Hopefully, I'll have enough time to do this without rushing. Um, so let's look at the bottom of both of the decks. This will be like our sort of unifying spiritual basis for the reading this week of October 18th. Happy birthday to my brother. So at the bottom of the Green Witch Tarot deck, we have the Fool, or the Green Man in this deck. And if you've watched my readings for a while, you'll know the Fool is one of my favorite cards. So there's going to be an air of going for it, of sort of putting aside all the that negative tape in our mind that keeps us stuck in this world and always brings out the gloom and doom or the negativity that, oh, you can't do it, you can't do it. Just stay safe, stay where you are, and just keep the status quo. When this card shows up, it's encouraging you to go for it, to um, think big and take a risk, take a chance. Just because it seems like a risk doesn't mean it's risky in a negative way. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Um, it would rarely ever happen. And sometimes, if we're really going to live, we have to take chances. And with the Queen of Wands, yeah, so with a fire sign on the bottom of the Crystal Visions deck. So she's all about going for it. I mean, she's very motivated and passionate, and she doesn't let anything steer her off of course because she knows where she's going, and she's able to keep up her enthusiasm for it until the goal is finished. She's a mature queen, so she doesn't start something and then let it fizzle out. So that while the energy of the Queen of Wands and the Fool this week is very dynamic, um, there's a tremendous amount of energy here, and it's a good omen if you're trying to launch new things or finish something you've launched or keep the momentum up. You will have that energy this week. Okay, so let's do work. The Seven of Swords and the Hanged Man. So the Seven of Swords, there's a couple different ways I read this card. One, kind of just traditionally, I always think with a skunk. My dad says never get in a pissing contest with a skunk. So if you have someone that's just being a jerk at work this week, like, let it go. Don't don't engage. Just go about your business. And these people declare themselves. You're not the only one noticing. Lots of times management doesn't say anything because they can't go around saying anything, but that doesn't mean they're not aware of what's going on, making note, and have a plan for dealing with it. So in a way, try to kind of to mind your own business. But I think while um, it may be hard because you may feel like you're just sort of stuck until a situation is dealt with. And so you're just sort of hanging upside down, just like, you know, um, I would like to get things done, but I can't because no one's dealing with this situation. But remember, the lesson of the Hanged Man is to use this time wisely. If you find yourself in a time where things are kind of on hold, will make useful time. Make use of that time by doing something else productive. Find a way to make it productive. This guy's here hanging from this tree, but instead of hanging from the tree, going, oh, I'm hanging from this tree, I'm hanging from this tree, I'm hanging from this tree, he's looking at the world from a different perspective and using the time to go within and reflect and think about things and gain perspective. So he's using his time wisely. So don't focus on sort of maybe this negative person or situation or issue going on, um, but maybe use it to challenge you to think of um, new workarounds if it can be done within the confines of your job description. Let it motivate you to be creative, but also kind of mind your own business this week, um, and let some things sort themselves out in due time. In the relationship category, we have the Ace of Pentacles, lovely, new new beginnings, an offering. Oh wow, this is why I love using two decks. Holy cow. So, two Ace of Pentacles in the relationships. Well, aces are new beginnings. Now, pentacles, it's kind of interesting. Pentacles are home, health, family, spirituality, um, sort of more tangible things. But in the relationship category, to me, it's a tangible offering. So, I mean, it's being asked out on a date, um, someone telling you they love you for the first time. It's sort of someone asking you to move in with them. That's very much a possibility since this does focus around home. Um, so any sort of new beginnings where relationships are concerned. The power of both aces is extremely powerful and positive. Sorry, I meant to say positive. So I do see new beginnings in relationships. If you're not in a relationship, you may see like tangible signs of meeting someone, being asked out, something like that. And if you are in a relationship, I would look for it to go to a new level. Um, wow, that's pretty powerful. Okay, I'm going to keep moving along. So the next is home. The Seven of Cups and the World. So the World points to the culmination of something. So it's an ending and a beginning. It's a celebration, yet a new beginning at the same time. So, for example, say you've been training to do your first marathon and it's kind of been consuming you for the last 6 months or something. And you go and you compete in your marathon and you finish it, and it's amazing because that's a huge goal that you have worked so hard on, and you attained your goal, and so it's exciting. But then at the same time you're kind of like, huh, okay, I just worked all that, I was just obsessed with this for the last 6 months and now I attained it. So there's a little bit of, okay, what's next, where do we go from here? So I do see this going back to the Ace of Pentacles in the relationship. There is sort of a completion and a new beginning at the home. So, but it's also paired with the Seven of Cups that is that sort of feeling like, what is next? Like I have all these options, but I'm not really sure. Um, I mean, this could be you're thinking of moving or getting a new home, or maybe you bought a new home and you finally want a new home, but now you're like, it needed some work, and you're like, okay, now where do I even start? What projects do I start now? Or you have lots of different projects that you want to do within the home, and you're not really sure where to begin. So there's this sort of culmination of something, and which was great. So there's going to be great feelings around that. But now you're not quite sure where to focus your attention and energy next. So practical things to do when that happens is, you can make a list if you're a list person, and you can either prioritize by doing some of the, tackling a big project, or you can get a lot of little things done and just sort of slowly chip away at it until you're sort of inspired to do something else. So I just want to remind you, underlying the reading was this Fool card, this new beginning, and this very passionate, motivated Queen of Wands, this very fiery, passionate woman. So that's in the setting of these two Ace of Pentacles that came up in the relationship. So definitely newness where relationships are concerned. We do have two sevens here, which, um, the Seven of Swords again is don't let yourself be dragged down if someone else is behaving badly, but also let it motivate you and challenge you to find um, a new way of dealing with a situation. Uh, but make sure you're focusing on how you deal with it and not trying to change or deal with someone else's situation. And if you have a time where you're sort of antsy and not much is happening, try to use that time wisely. Wow, so there's some real strong new beginning for us this week. I'm feeling pretty confident that it's around relationships. Um, but there's also something with the home. So the home and the relationships are tied here this week with a new beginning, and lots of passion and um, going for it. So I feel like it's the cards are really saying to maybe take a risk, even if it's out of your comfort zone, where relationships are concerned this this week, because there's a lot of new exciting things I believe on the horizon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care.